CBS, and 35% say Fox.
Wow. That's a huge gap, too. That's
stunning.
So NBC, the network NBC is nowhere on it? Are they lumped in with MSNBC?
No. NBC is 3. MSNBC is tied with Comedy Central at 6.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, so NBC is worse than MSNBC.
I mean,
NBC gets that I think gets that rap because they're the global warming station. They're the ones who are constantly doing propaganda. They're the ones constantly doing the Affordable Care Act propaganda. They have made their bed and they've sown all the seeds. We are in bed with this administration. They get all of the stuff because everybody knows NBC was owned by GE, and so they were constantly doing those Green Week things because their parent company was GE. I really think that NBC, they have destroyed NBC, and I don't think you'll ever get NBC back.
Glenn, if you add up all the other networks you said, would it get to 35?
Well, you have a calculator. 3, 6, 9,
18,
10,
28.
11.
Yeah,
14.
It surpasses. I mean, barely.
Barely, though. Yeah.
You can almost add all the rest. And so Fox is more trustworthy than just about all of them combined. You could certainly take MSNBC and NBC and CBS, combine them.
Okay, so what you have to know is the people who lean right are all saying, or not all, but a lot of people who lean right are saying Fox. Everybody else is divided. They don't trust anybody. So when you look at the most trusted news team, poll asks which team is the most trusted news team. The least trusted was Fox because so many Democrats don't like it. I haven't looked at this. Stu, you've got to break this whole thing down. Yeah. I'll send you a copy of the actual raw numbers. Or a link to the copy. I don't even know if I have the link to the raw numbers. This came from the Washington Examiner. But if you look at the raw numbers, I'd like to understand that one. But least trusted. No, that's got to be. No, this doesn't make sense the way this is written. The poll also asked which news team was least trusted. Yeah. And Fox won that, too, because many Democrats don't like it.
Yeah.
So how could they be the...
Well, I think that what that means is you have one source that has any conservative opinion on it. And
that's what it means.
So all Democrats hate it and all Republicans like it. But it does show that... It shows what we've talked about forever, that there really is... I mean, this is why the Blaze is needed so much. Yeah. There's only one thing that conservatives can even come close to liking. They hate everything else because everything else offends their values constantly.
And quite honestly, it's another reason why it is needed is because there is nothing that the other side likes. They don't trust it. There's nothing that pops through here. ABC News with 11%, that shows that while all the conservatives are like, I don't trust any of those, but I do trust this one. The other side has nothing that they agree on. It should be, 35% Fox and 35% CNN. It should be something like that, but it's not because the other side has nothing. And why does the other side have nothing? The other side is going for MSNBC, which is, remember how MSNBC made fun of me all the time and just said that I was a clown show and everything else? And did you see, Pat, I sent you a deal of Touré doing a Karnak bit? Oh my gosh. This is some of the worst television. Forget about their opinions. It's some of the worst television I've ever seen.
I know. We marvel at that a lot.
And they're trying to do is do what I did.
Yes.
And they can't do that.
Yes.
They're horrible. It's just, it's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. It is like if you got a bunch of 8th graders together and said, let's do a funny news broadcast. That's really what it is. It's embarrassing. I saw that thing from Touré. I don't know if you watched it yet, where he's doing Karnak, and they have all these political pundits sitting around a table, and they're all laughing, and it's embarrassing because none of them think this is fun. There's not a soul. You know that sinking feeling when you're on like 90% of our shows every day, where you're just like, this isn't working, this isn't working, and you have that feeling, and you're like, okay, can we stop this because this is embarrassing. That's what that felt like, and it feels like that all the time. So not only are their politics not trusted, they are destroying the image of NBC.
It's destroyed, as the poll shows. There's no destroying left to do.
No, they still have that margin of error.
It might be 0, but it might be 3. It might be
3. It might be 3. Now, wait a minute. Could it not be
could
also
be
6?
Yes,
all the way
it
up
could
to
be
6.
6.
Yes, it could.
So, which would tie them with Comedy Central.
Although they'd have the margin of error too, so they'd still probably win.
Yeah, because that could be 9 for Comedy Central, or 9. But so anyway, the NBC is now apologizing for this. But the GOP is saying, sadly, such petty and demeaning attacks have become a pattern at your network with increasing frequency. Many of your hosts have personally denigrated and demeaned Americans, especially conservative and Republican Americans, even with attempting to further meaningful political dialogue. While I personally enjoy appearing on decent shows like Morning Joe and the Daily Rundown, the entire network is poisoned because of this pattern of behavior. Until you personally and publicly apologize for this behavior, I have banned all staff from appearing or associating and booking any RNC surrogates on MSNBC. I've asked Republican surrogates and officials to follow our lead. I'm telling you, there is something. I don't think the Republicans even see it. The progressives certainly don't see it. The people like NBC, and I don't know how much more damage you could do to NBC. I mean, all they're going now for are the ratings, and everybody is looking at ratings and saying, look at our ratings, look at our ratings, look at our ratings, and then look at CNN, how bad their ratings are. I would much rather be a trusted news source than a joke with higher ratings, because there's no future in just going for the ratings. There's absolutely no future. That thing burns out eventually. You run out of your beloved ethanol, and eventually there's nothing left for you to run on, and it is completely over. CNN, I contend, CNN is in a much better position than MSNBC. When I watch these two things, and I know I'm considered, I'm sure, a joke in the TV world and not knowing anything what I'm talking about. And a lot of people, even in my own company, disagree with me on this. They all say CNN is over. I'm telling you, CNN has the best chance of survival of any of the networks. I just don't believe that MSNBC is in a better position. It's not. CNN is in a better position, even though Larry King is out saying CNN should just run cartoons. Should they, Larry? Should they? Here's a guy who got off and was angry and bitter that they provided him a platform for all these years and replaced him with Piers Morgan. Yes, Piers Morgan is really bad, but CNN, I believe, as a whole, is in better shape than MSNBC, or really, possibly any of the cable news outlets.